Welcome to the Big Bag. My name's Mark Machado, and I'm joined by my co-host with the most host, Nick Brookes. I'm north of the London River. Nick is south of the London River, but we've spent all week watching the IPL, the Indian Premier League. It has started. The biggest circus in cricket is what we live for, Nick, and we're here to discuss our two. I'm going to get this wrong. One good, two bad. From this week's IPL. If you're watching or listening or wherever you are, somehow getting in touch with us, firstly, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Do not forget to hit the to get in touch. Leave us your thoughts in the comments section. They come through. If you're watching live, we get them live, so they come straight through to us. So get in touch. Tell us what we've missed in the IPL this week. We were saying beforehand, Nick, weren't we, before we get into it, that when you watch the IPL in the UK, you basically just get the game. You don't get any of the pre-match. You don't get any of the post-match. Just the to using what I would describe as an old-fashioned word, the telecast is just like from the first ball. That's it, and then it just stops at the end ball, which is kind of frustrating for us.
Really frustrating, man. I hear that in America, the Willow stream, it has a slightly better pre-game, post-game setup. I've been in India a bit during IPLs before, and they do have really good studio stuff around the games. So it's a bit of a shame, actually. I'm going to come back to this on my too bad, Marky. That's part of one of my things, is that there's not enough narrative around a league which has so many great stories.
Shall we start with your one good then, and then you do one good, I do my one good, you do your one bad, I'll do my one bad, you do your second bad, I'll do my second bad. What's your one good?
Dude, my one good is just how unpredictable this league is. It's so full of surprises, and it constantly baffles and amazes me. I've been betting on every game. I can't win a bet. My money is going down the drain, but I'm loving it nonetheless. So let's start with yesterday. We had LSG, who most people are picking as the worst team in the tournament, against Sunrisers, who I think most would agree have them like the most consistently destructive batting lineup in this league. None of the Sunrisers top order could find any timing. And then Nicky Poran comes out and smokes them. They get absolutely blown away. So that just shows the kind of depth of quality that's knocking around the IPL, right? Then you go back to Monday, you got Delhi and all sorts. What were they? 60 for 5. And Ashutosh Sharma, Smashatosh, comes out and plays an innings, man. He was 20 off 20. He hit 46 off his last 11 to take Delhi over the line to 209 in an incredible finish. We've had like really unheard of bowlers coming in and doing bits. Prince Yadav bowling nice Yorkers. I was enjoying yesterday watching him get that forehead grease onto the ball and getting a bit of swing in the middle overs, which is something we haven't seen in the IPL in a long time. Really finding good block hold Yorkers. We've seen Digvesh Ratty as well for LSG, bowling sort of little mystery spinners with the ball hidden behind his back. We saw Vaishak for PB, for Punjab Kings the other night, coming in at the death and bowling these like wide full tosses, which kind of won them the game. And then Vignesh Pudor for Mumbai Indians, bowling left arm wrist spin and taking wickets. It's just like, I think what's really cool about this is a lot of these guys haven't played even much in the SMAT. You know, they're coming straight out of the Delhi Premier League or the Tamil Nadu Premier League and just doing bits. That's always wicked to see. Then you've got Shardul Thakur, a guy who should be in Chelmsford right now under 9-degree grey skies. No one fancied him. He's taken, I think 6 wickets in his first 2 games, bowled really nicely up front and has the purple cap at the moment. And then I also wanted to touch on like 3 big innings, Marquee, which I think
go for it.
Unexpected from guys who all had a point to prove. So starting with Ishan Kishan, who has, such a talent coming into this league and maybe hasn't fulfilled that at Mumbai, given a new situation, batting at 3, given a platform, just looked totally liberated. Then you got Shreyas Iyer, who, again, in a new team at Punjab, a lot of people were questioning that 23 crore buy or whatever it was. I think me included, asking whether he's consistently good enough, a kind of a player to warrant that price tag. I've never seen him bat better. He hit 9 sixes, slam 97 or 42. I think it was Ravi Shastri on comms who was just saying you can't bowl to him when he's batting like that. Yeah, never seen him bat better. And then Quentin de Kock the other night, a guy who I think a lot of people were saying was cooked since he stopped playing international cricket. He's looked in really poor form through the SA20. Josh Hazlewood had him out twice in 5 balls or whatever on the first day, and then he came and slammed another really good 90. So yeah, guys proving that they've still got it, guys we haven't heard of doing amazing things, just all kinds of crazy shit happening, and I'm so here for it.
Before you get into the before I got onto my good, just a few bits that I think are worth having a chat about. Talking about players who haven't played much before, but played in what I suppose we would in England kind of consider as like domestic T20 tournaments in India, the Delhi Premier League, the Tamil Nadu Premier League. Actually, if you listen to people like Ashwin and P Dog and people like that, they are really high on those leagues, right? They think the quality is really good. I've heard loads of people talk about the Tamil Nadu Premier League and how good it is. The team kits in that league look incredible. So are the team names. Sometimes I think, Nick, we're the ones missing out by not having those on sorry, I'm going to say on more kind of mainstream sports channels in the UK. I think you might get some of them on some of the Indian language channels, which me and you obviously aren't frequent viewers of because they're not languages we speak. But I think we need to try and get the Tamil Nadu Premier League on Sky Sports or TNT Sports. I think that's what we want, isn't it?
Totally, man. After this week, I'm thinking, how can I tap into some of these leagues? Why aren't these leagues better reported on, being more watched? Because we're at the stage now where it's clearly not a one-off. It's loads of players coming in. I'm also wondering why these guys aren't getting more gigs in the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy. But it's clear that the quality in these, whatever you want to call them, domestic leagues is really, really high. And it's not 1 or 2 players. It's loads of guys who are coming into the IPL straight away and being able to perform. So, yeah, it's undeniable. And I'll certainly be keeping an eye on these domestic leagues more moving forward. And, yeah, I'd love to watch some more of it. Get me out to India for the Delhi Premier League, the Tamil Nadu Premier League. I want to do a little tour around watching all of them.
Yeah, the other thing I think it's worth dwelling on for a few minutes is some of the kind of, I want to call them heritage players. I don't want to call them older players, kind of coming back into form, because I think the point isn't that Thakur as we've suddenly remembered how great a player he is, or Quinton de Kock is actually really good at cricket. I think there's sometimes we're too quick to write players off, especially in this format where it's so kind of quick compared to other formats of cricket, but also so great in volume that, like, really 6 weeks in T20 cricket is a really long time in someone's career. Like, you come in and out of form 2 or 3 times in that period, right? And sometimes I think we need to bear that more in mind when we kind of consider players and how we talk about players. I think it's entirely possible that someone could have a really bad SA20, but still merit a place or still merit a big contract in the IPL, and then come into the IPL and perform straight away, because the actual skill set that they need, they've done it for a number of years before, that hasn't changed. I know tactically no sport moves as quickly as T20 cricket, but I think we, as in the viewers, the people who love watching consuming the sport, are too quick to write them off.
Totally, man. I couldn't agree more. And I think maybe cricket's reached a place where there's a little too much recency bias in that kind of sense. I also think it's one of those things where if you're in bad form in the middle of a T20 tournament, it's really difficult to get yourself into good form, because you're going out into the middle and you don't have time to play yourself back in. You're expected to go from ball 1. And so you can see how it becomes a kind of self-perpetuating cycle, and one low score, if you're feeling out of nick, can lead to a string of low scores. I definitely think we should be less quick to write players off. Someone like Ajinkya Rahane had a pretty poor IPL last year, but then had a really good smat and came out on Saturday for the opening game looking $1 million. I've got to say, Marky, Moeen Ali is actually a cricketer who I've loved for a number of years. I kind of thought he was retired, even though he did squad preview.
He's retired internationally, isn't he? He's retired internationally.
I think this is going to be his last summer, right? Playing in the 100.
Yeah.
But I mean, came out and bowled beautifully for KKR the other night.
And I should say, considering I have hosted something with him before, that Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid have a podcast out as well.
Yeah, I've seen
And you should
clips
go.
of it. It looks great.
Yeah, you should go check that out because obviously, I mean, I don't think there's two English players who have who'll be able to give such incredible insight about playing cricket all around the world. My one good from this week, or my top good from this week, is the coming good of LSG. Right, Nick, I've not talked about this for a little while, but my mother is from. She's not from Lucknow. She's from what used to be called Allahabad, now called Prayagraj, which is in Indian terms, just down the road from Lucknow. It's still quite fine, British terms. And so I do have a bit of a soft spot for the Super Giants. But coming into the tournament, this time last week, people were talking about they've got this all wrong. There's no balance in the side. The people who run it aren't doing a good job. Without KL, it's all going to fall apart. But yesterday, it all came together. Nicholas Puran pulled it off for them. Sharnall's done amazing. So that was, I was a bit nervous for the boys because I wasn't sure how it was going to look. But now I'm actually quite buoyed by it. I think there's that it's very early, only 2 games in, but the way people talk about them, it felt like getting any sort of result at any point was going to be a struggle. But they've disproved that, and they've proved the doubters wrong. I thought that was a really spirited performance. I thought Sunrisers looked so good in their previous game. For going into that fixture yesterday, I thought no chance. And even once they got to kind of the 270 mark, I was like, it's not going to happen. But then it came through. The boys came through and they pulled it off. And it was a little bit of an all-hand situation. Because I know Mitch Marsh got runs at the top, but they did lose wickets kind of semi-consistently, apart from Marsh and Puran's innings. But the rest of the team kind of came through. If Aidan Markram could find form, then we could be in for seeing something quite extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they would have been really disheartened after Monday's game. You know, they at one stage during their innings, they looked like they were on for 250, and they really slumped at the back end to only make 209. And then having Delhi 5 wickets down just outside the power play, and then, you know, Ashutosh comes and does amazing things. That would have been a real gut punch. But they played a blinder yesterday. I mean, Marsh's form for them has to be a major, major boon. He's a guy who I think averaged 19 in the IPL coming into this year. So back-to-back 50s for him, really, really promising. Even more promising the way Nicky Puran's batted. I've thought for a long time that on his day, he's arguably the most destructive batter in all of cricket. The problem is that his day doesn't come regularly enough, and I don't think he's ever been a really, really consistent sort of top 5 level batter in the IPL. But he started with back-to-back 70s, striking, what was it, 70 off 26. I think the other one was 70 or something off 30. So, I mean, he's striking close to 300. Anything in his zone looks like it's going for 6. As you say, Marky, they need to get some more out of Markram. I would like to see them swap Markram and Pant around. I think Pant coming in the middle overs, often having to start against spin, he looks a bit tentative, and I think Markram would rather bat in the middle order. So I'd like to see them make that switch. If those guys can get going, they've got a promising looking top 4. I think the question mark you have is at the moment, what happens if Marsh and Puran don't get them off to those really good starts, because we haven't seen so much from your Pants, your Markrams, your Millers, and after that they do drop off a little. But
Badoni's the one that you feel like he's been around this league for a few years now. He's not a rookie anymore. This should be the time when he tries. This should be the moment when he tries to kind of really step up. And I'm not saying that if he doesn't, they need to drop him because he's an incredible batter. But I'm saying like I think he needs to just give a little bit more. Be a little bit more consistent in scoring runs. He'll have a few big knocks, but as he has done the last few series, but he needs to be more consistent.
Yeah, they definitely need to get more out of Badoni batting at 5. But I think the biggest boon for them is they've got an all-Indian bowling attack, right? All of their overseas players are in that top 6, and they had all these injuries. They've had Mayank Yadav out, who's their clear like gun strike weapon. Then they lost Avesh and Moshin. Avesh came back yesterday, but with a kind of unheralded, unheard of Indian bowling attack, they did really, really well yesterday. I was super impressed with Prince, and really impressed with Digvesh Rathi as well. Shardul is looking great in the power play. So signs of hope for LSG. I still don't have them as a playoff team. I just wonder whether they've had they've had 2 great innings from Pooran, and whether they're going to get 14 of those. I don't think they will. But then if Punt comes and wins you a couple of games, if Miller plays a couple of blinding innings, who knows?
So my kind of theory is most teams have played 1 game, so a couple have played 2, including LSG. I think at this stage of the tournament, you can't win it, but you can knock yourself out of it. And you can discount yourself, because not that you're going to get after 1 game you've lost too many, or 2 games you've lost too many, but I think because of what the kind of spirit that and the culture that can take over the squad, and engulf the squad, that you kind of create a situation where it's impossible to pull yourself through it, and make the playoffs. Should we get into the 2 bads?
Yeah.
What do you want to give us your first bad of the week then, Nick?
Yeah, my first bad is just related to like narratives. Again, not getting any pre and post show. There isn't a load of content, and there isn't like clarity around injuries, around what's going on with the squad. So I think of that first week, we had Bhuvi missing for RCB on Saturday. We had Hasaranga out. We had another big player missing, and
Patarana.
Patarana for CSK. And in none of those situations was there really clarification whether it was tactical, whether it was based on a niggle. If that was the English Premier League in football, you're 100% knowing what's going on, right? And so I think a bit more clarity around that, and a bit more of building up narratives, because there are a lot of people in England who still aren't really behind this league, which just blows my mind, because I'm totally obsessed. I can't get enough of it. So I'd really like to see the non-cricketing side of things, the story side of things built up a bit more, which I guess is what we're trying to do a little bit here, Marky, right?
Yeah, we're definitely, but I mean, we can't do it by ourselves, right? So last week in the preview for it, one of the stories going into this iteration of the IPL has been who's going to replace Harry Brook. We think it's Dasha Chanaka, because that's the what we've heard, but we're literally hearing it through sources in the camp. Delhi Capitals haven't put anything out saying who's going to replace him. It could be DeWalt Brothers. We don't know. It could be like Ben Duckett. We don't know, right?
Totally. And things just aren't that well reported. Did you see this story about the KKR groundsman?
No.
So I thought this was really interesting, and it's hardly got any coverage in the UK. Rahane basically said, we want spinning pitches. And the Eden Gardens grounds guy was like, go fuck yourself. I'm going to make what pitches I like. And that's this big standoff, which is kind of crazy, because obviously in Chepauk, CSK have that relationship with the ground staff where they can get the pitches that they want. And it's not the case at KKR. It's just an interesting little story. You don't often hear ground staff getting into the press and saying, like, I've got no duty to the IPL team who plays here. I'm going to make the kind of pitches that I make. It was just an interesting little story that was barely reported.
It's a great story. There's lots to dissect into that, and the dynamics of how Indian cricket and the IPL are entwined, and how other teams are possibly doing it slightly better, like they are in Chennai. Can I give you my first bad of the whole series? And that is going to be Rajasthan Royals' performance on Wednesday against Kolkata Knight Riders. Right, so they bat first. It's kind of starts off looking all right, and then they start to lose wickets quite quickly. And I think every possible mistake they could have made in that innings, once they start to lose wickets, they start to they commit, they make. So coming into that tournament, this time last week, me and you were talking about how the betting markets had them actually quite low, quite as very much outside bets to make the playoff. We talked about how the narrative in the media is that they're a very well-run club and they know what they're doing and they've got a strategy and they're very deep in data, and that they should, we think, probably put something together that's probably, we thought, was slightly better than what the betting markets thought it was, right? Come out to bat on Wednesday and it's exactly the opposite of everything we thought, and you're like, the betting markets are correct. So Jaswal, you're right. Okay, Jaswal's one of the best players on the planet right now. He's a key player for you. He gets out after scoring 29, which actually in this format is a good score. That is absolutely fine. Sanju Samson's in there. Parag's in there. Then those three kind of, or Jaswal and Parag get out quickly. Then they bring in Hasaranga, who is somebody me and you rate very highly as a potential floater, someone who can do bits in T20 cricket and hasn't done it with the bat in the IPL, but has done it with the bat in other leagues he's played in and almost all other leagues he's played in. So we're like, okay, that's not that bad a decision, except maybe if he's coming in as a floater, he's coming in a bit high because there are other recognised batters. Then he gets out quite quickly. Then they use their sub to take off Samson, who can't bowl anyway. All his fingers he's got some injury, so he can't field anyway. And they bring in Shubham Dubey, and I'm like, right, if the Hasaranga floating him up to the top isn't telling the opposition you're mildly panicked, then that is a massive panic move, especially as they had Hetmar in the sheds ready to go. But because they were at this position at 10 overs in, they're not putting him out yet, and they wanted to only bat for the last 5 overs. They end up in a situation where then Dubey gets out quite cheaply, and then Hetmar's got to come in, but then Hetmar's now running out of people to bat with. So they managed to get to all 20 overs with kind of 1 wicket to spare. But I think the last 4 overs, they basically had no recognised batters in there at all.
Yeah, man, it was ugly, wasn't it?
It was really ugly. It reeked of, we've totally lost confidence in ourselves, and we've very quickly run out of ideas and run out of just being able to back ourselves. There should have been a moment when they just said somebody ran out and said, right, it's 10 overs in. I'm trying to look at where they would have been. They'd have been, I think, about 75 for 4 or something at that point. And they should have just said, right, just get to 15 overs or 16 overs and then see where we're at and reassess, right? And then, because when they were 151 for 9, you kind of think if you're 151 for even 7 or 6, it kind of weirdly, the psychology feels a little bit better about it.
Totally. And we've seen in this league how hard people can go at the back end when there's wickets in hand. I mean, they got served up a spinning pitch, but I don't think with 8 frontline batters it was a 150 pitch. You look at Moeen Ali and Varun Chakravarti, between them bowled 8 overs, 4 wickets for 40. I mean, that's where you've lost the game, right? I think for me, the issue with Rajasthan at the moment is Jaiswal's form to me looks a little bit concerning. He seems to be slightly short on confidence. He wants to go really hard from ball 1, but he doesn't quite look to have that timing. And I think without Buttler in that top 3, once you get through Jaiswal and Samson, look, Parag was great last year, but is he going to give you that consistency? I'm not sure he's there yet. And then you're into your Ranas. Dhruv Jurel batted really, really nicely in their game against Sunrisers. But again, it's not proven, right? I get why they brought Hasaranga in there, because they were shitting the bed against spin, and he's the guy who can smash spin. But you know what you're going to get from Hasaranga. He's going to try and hit 6s pretty much from ball 1. So you've always got that risk of losing another early wicket. And yeah, the Hetmar thing, I think they see him as their best death hitter, and they want to make sure that he's there for those death overs. But I think he came in 110 for 6 on 15 overs. I mean, you basically already lost the game by then. And, you know, you're paying a guy 16 crore who last season he faced, I think, less than 200 balls, hardly batted. Here, I mean, it doesn't quite make sense to me. I'm sure they'll be concerned about Jofra's form as well. To me, he bowled actually all right in the power play. Whenever it was Wednesday, and then he got taken down by De Kock at the back end, but that can happen when a player's in really good form and well set. But yeah, I think Rajasthan, there's a little bit of trouble there. I've liked the way that their Indian seamers Sandeep Sharma and Tushar Deshpande, I think, have bowled decently thus far, but what they're getting from there, they need to get more from their overseas players. And I think you start to wonder, you've lost your first two and been blown out quite badly in that second game. Actually, you could say they made a decent fist of chasing whatever it was, 285 that Sunrisers put up, but you're never going to win that game at the halfway stage. And likewise, on Wednesday, once you've posted 150, you're never winning that game. So they've had two matches so far, which they've both been out of after one innings. KKR chased that down with just minimal fuss. And you wonder if a bit of panic starts to set in at Rajasthan.
Yeah, I just thought there was a lot of bad decision making with that, the way they batted. And holding off you Hetmeyer, who's I understand you want him at the back end, but you should, in a way, there's a way to spin it and go, right, Shimron, we wanted you to come in later, but you're here now. You 10 overs left. You never get to bat this long in any cricket you ever play or around the globe. Go for your life. Take your time. Get your eye in, and then make sure you're there for the last 3 overs. And I just thought this reeks. Someone's not thinking. They're not thinking on their feet here. It's too slow.
I really agree. And he actually faced 69 balls last year, which is wild. And I think, he's already faced 31 this year. So he's halfway to what he did last year, which I think that tells a story in and of itself of how their top order's been going. But I just think, we talk about them being data driven and all that. Is it sensible spending that much money on a guy who is going to face so few balls? Is there a better way to put that towards your budget? I would suggest that there might be.
So it looks to me like maybe if they are data driven, maybe they're looking at the wrong things. They're just looking at the wrong points in it.
Maybe he's going to come in and play, a few 70 or 20 innings and win the games and change that narrative. I also think, look, Archer's had a bad start. I think we expect Hasaranga and Thikshana to have more of an impact moving forward than they have done over the first couple of games. So let's see. But what else have they got? If they could bring Faruqi back in, but I think in terms of backup batters, they've got Donovan Ferreira, who has done well, but it's pretty unproven in the IPL. I don't know who else they've got. So that it's my big worry is that their bowling hasn't fired and their batting, once you get past that opening pair, I think you start to think we've got a sniff here.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to give us your second bad?
Yeah, man. My second bad is kind of another non-cricketing complaint. It's why aren't we getting double headers on Saturdays? We used to have.
Why are we getting double headers through the week? That was my second bad as well. I was like, it's just too slow. The whole thing's too slow.
I wouldn't mind double headers through the week, but especially if you're in England and you're not in South Asia getting these games at 7 o'clock in the evening. Like, these games are ruining my working days. I'm trying to pretend to work through the afternoon and have one eye on the cricket, one eye on what I'm supposed to be writing. And then the weekend comes and you've only got one game on Saturday. I don't understand it, because the other thing that I'd say is I've got so much enthusiasm for this league right now. I can't get enough of it. But I know by the time that we've had 8 weeks of it, that enthusiasm starts to wane a bit. So I just don't understand. Make the league a bit shorter. Have 4 games at the weekend. People can literally be glued to the sofa watching all weekend, and let's get it over slightly quicker.
My bad was I think we need more games more frequently, but I wonder if we need to have a conversation about, could they have 2 more sides in?
Well, yeah, I saw Dan Weston tweet yesterday, or retweet, I think, something that was potentially calling for 12 teams, 5 overseas players. I love it. I think that would make sense. And then I'd like to see the IPL grow like that. Maybe if that were to happen, you could split it into 2 groups of 6, a sort of north and south with like a more American style playoffs. I don't know.
That'd be great. I would enjoy that. I mean, people keep saying, how, there isn't the depth of talent. There isn't the depth of talent. But, we started off this whole conversation by talking about how these youngsters are coming in, playing not much cricket, coming in, hitting the ground running, scoring runs, getting wickets. So I'm not sure I fully believe that. I don't think, and I can think of, there's at least another kind of 20 really top quality international players who could easily slot into this league. So I don't think there's a lack of international talent. I don't think there's a lack of domestic talent. Let's see how we should keep talking about this. Do we feel like another team could happen? Because we might get to the end of it and go, do you know what? There was 2 sides in the group stage who were just way off the pace. I still think, though, that's more to do with the way the teams are being run, opposed to a lack of talent.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I was kind of thinking the other night as I drifted off to sleep, thinking about the IPL, as I seem to do at this time of year. Like, if you look at other sports leagues around the world, in the NBA, New York's got 2 teams, LA's got 2 teams. How many football clubs have we got in London? There's 2 Manchester teams. Doesn't a great city like Mumbai kind of deserve a second franchise?
It'd be brilliant to have rivals, but I think just the way India is structured economically and the way power sits and works, I don't think you'd ever get a second team in Mumbai or Chennai, which are the 2 most obvious, right?
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, second Delhi team, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. Or like, because they are like kind of suburbs of all these places, right? So you could have a team in Noida or somewhere like that.
Yeah, bring Pune back.
Bring Pune back. There is large swathes of India that are very, very far away from an IPL team, right? I would obviously, I'd love a team in Prayagraj. That'd be amazing. Or another team down south somewhere would be really good, I think.
Yeah, a Kerala team would be great.
Yeah.
No, it's very undemocratic of me to suggest a second Mumbai team when they're a huge swathes of India without a franchise.
Patna, they should do a team in Patna, and they should do a team further out east as well, right? I don't want to get it. Actually, I'm not going to say anything because I was like, I think there's a whole political thing going on out there. So, but I'm sure the BCCI have a list of cities that should have IPL teams and get them teams as soon as you can, please.
Yeah,
Darjeeling.
Darjeeling, yeah, I think this league's got plenty of room for growth, and I'm sure in the next 5-10 years we'll be seeing it expand beyond 10.
Yeah, exactly. I thought when we got the 2 new teams, I'm pretty sure like the conversation around then was we're going to get 2 more teams pretty soon. There'll be 2 more expansion teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember hearing that, but I'm here for it, especially with 5 overseas. I think that would be great. And also with the impact sub rule, I think this is probably a conversation for another day. A lot of people don't like that, but that kind of allows you to paper over cracks in your side because you can bat down to 8 and then sort of bring in a bowler.
So I think the impact sub is used wrongly most of the time, right? Because people panic use it.
Do you
like
think?
We saw Rajasthan in Wednesday, a lot of the time, yeah. I still think the teams that are successful are the teams that are able to deploy it best. But most sides, more often than not, you see it being used in oh crap, it's not working. What we thought, and which also makes me think that they're sitting there, they're coming into it with that, and they're not fully clear in their minds about how it's meant to work. How the team not meant to work, not the sub, as in how the team's meant to function and what their strategy is for playing it, and they are going into it with slight doubt in their mind. Or maybe being a bit over Pep here, because you know how Pep Guardiola talks about you can't have any doubt in your system. If you've got doubt in it, it won't work at all. So maybe I'm over pepping it in my mind, but I think Like I'd say that Rajasthan Royals game on Wednesday, where they obviously panicked and just like put their sub in early doors, was a great example of no, you've not got this correct, and you've used it in a way that's destabilized the whole team now because you've used it so quickly and early on. But we should talk about this more. Nick, should we leave it there for today?
Yeah, what's your second bad, Marky? You haven't given it to me yet.
No, my second bad is going to be the lack of fixtures.
Okay,
like, get more fixtures on. So now I'm frantically sitting around. What we should have done beforehand was compare bads.
Compare bads. That would have been good show planning. Before we leave it, Marky, can I ask you one quick question, which I will answer as well? Who are you supporting after 1 week of this competition?
It's when so we talked a little bit earlier about the kind of lack of narrative around it, but in my mind, I have loads of different narratives going on in my head, right? So RCB, there's the whole will Virat finally win it? With Lucknow, I've kind of gotten into a place where so many people seem to hate on them at the moment that I kind of want them to do good because they're just young cricket guys just playing cricket with their mates. Punjab Kings have been the banter team for a long time, so I'm quite like want to see how they can turn it around, if they can turn it around. I'm personally, for me, I'm not sure that they've got the right structures in place behind the scenes.
They're my guys.
They're your guys. They're the guys that you're really going for here.
Yeah, I've never been that into them before because they've normally been a joke, but I think I love this team. I'm calling them, I think they've got a bit of a hipster Hyderabad vibe about them, right? I reckon like everyone knows what you're going to get from SRH. I think Punjab are going to do something similar, but they're a bit more under the radar. The other night, they slammed 243 with their 3 overseas batters, Stoinis, Asmatullah and Maxwell, combining for 36 off 31. So, I mean, there is some batting in this team, and I think they've got really good death bowling with, you know, your Arshdeeps, your Janssens, your Vaishaks coming in. They're the team who I'm most excited to watch, which I kind of wouldn't have expected sort of a month or 6 weeks ago. So, yeah.
To one team I feel I have little affinity with is the Titans, and I don't know why. Because they're good. There's nothing wrong with them. They're a great side.
They're a good team. But I know what you mean. I've never been a Gujarat guy, and I might be spending some time in Ahmedabad quite soon. So I might have to head to a few of their games. So maybe I'll get myself a Titans shirt and get behind them.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I'd love to be in the stadium for an IPL game.
Yeah, that would be special, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'd love to visit that Ahmedabad stadium as well. That looks like a special place as well. So much. It's so new, but there's been so much great cricketing memories formed in there so quickly. Nick, should we leave it there for today then?
Let's do it, man. Let's enjoy the IPL over the weekend, and shall we try and be back early next week for something?
Yeah, definitely. Monday or Tuesday. Let's try and do something. Probably Tuesday because we do Murali End on Monday.
Yeah.
And also thinking about last week's Murali End and this week's Big Bag, I feel quite bad because I've laid into Kumar Sangakkara totally
twice in the space of a week.
Twice in the space of like 4 days.
Oh, well,
Kumar, I love you.
I
love you, Kumar. Not that many people have created as many good memories in life as you have for me, Kumar. So please don't take this personally. And it's only because I want the best for you. And I'm just, you're older than me, and we're not related in any way. But I'm just being a shrunken uncle. That's the message. If you're listening, Nick, should we leave it there with a Big Bag? We talk about IPL, T20 cricket. Follow us. Follow the page, follow us across social media. We're going to get slowly more active on it as well. We'll be back next week or early next week. See you later. Bye.
Bye.